Hi guys, Blake here today with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on Lake Taneycomo. It is Thursday, May the 13th, and I'm going to do the one cast for you today. So, a really pretty day here on Lake Taneycomo. It's about 75 degrees, but low humidity and a nice cool 2 to 3 mile an hour breeze. They are still running 15,000 cubic feet per second with the floodgates. Today, I've boated up here. I'm sitting right across from the end of the big long abandoned dock over here on the north bank. Oh, almost fell over. And I don't have a whole lot of time today, so we're just going to do this inside bend back around to the dock. And I'm going to throw a all sculpin jig, which I haven't broke out many colors other than white lately when fishing jigs, so we're just going to see how it does. Haven't tried a jig in this spot in a long time, and haven't tried another color other than white in a while, so we're just gonna go around this bend with a jig and see how it works. I do have a white jig with me, and I do have a couple of those jerkbait rigs in case I feel froggy and want to keep drifting past the dock. I might throw one of those out and see how it does. Anyway, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna take us off spot lock and get drifting here a little bit. Make sure that this camera gear isn't getting pressed. There you go. Okay. There are times when this inside stretch here, fishing with a jig into this structure and this slow water, can be really good. Like I said, I haven't tried it in a while, so we're gonna figure it out together today. That is an 1/8 ounce jig, and that is 2 pound test. I don't know if I already said that. So, fishing reports for today. Captain Dwayne Doty had a trip this morning. Said the bite was killer. I believe they were dragging some scuds and shad flies up in the trophy area. And right at the last minute, his trip decided they wanted to keep some fish. Like, when I say last minute, I think they had 17 minutes left in the trip. He said they drifted below Fall Creek, from Fall Creek to Trout Hollow Lodge, and nothing officially on the first cast. But from Fall Creek to Trout Hollow Lodge, and caught 16 fish in 17 minutes on dragging scuds. So he said that the scud bite was even better below Fall Creek than it is above right now, which we suspected that they might be chasing a group of scuds down. And so apparently that bite has been killer. I just talked to Pete Leonard. Him and Captain Tracy Frenzel had a double trip yesterday, and there's a log there, and they said that they drug scuds and orange egg flies below the trophy area, and said that they actually did really well on the egg fly. So they caught them on both, but they were doing really good on the orange egg fly trailing behind. I feel like that's about all the reports I have for today. If it looks like I'm really working this rod hard, it's technically one of my rods I had made for fishing really light jigs, and I've got an 1/8 ounce on it right now, so probably looks like I'm cranking that thing over, but it takes a lot to move that heavy jig with this light rod. And I'm just trying to let that thing sink. If you get in real close to the bank, it's pretty shallow over there. You can see the bottom, but this area drops off real sharp until you get all the way around the other side of the bend above our dock. Then it kind of flattens out. But I'm just kind of working it in towards the bank and trying to let it sink as it gets deeper. I've seen a lot of fish still being cleaned that have sculpin fish in their bellies. So ideally, the sculpin jig should come close to giving an imitation of that, and if that's one of the things they're eating right now, it should be a good color as well as the white. I believe that tomorrow is our last sunny day according to the schedule, and we're supposed to see some rainy days for the next, starting Saturday, for 4 or 5 days. I don't think they're calling for a huge accumulation, but it's supposed to be rainy every day. It might be that throwing a white jig would have been better over here. Just not sure. It's probably going on 3:30 in the afternoon right now, kind of getting to that where the sun's at its highest point. I've got a little cloud cover right now, but still not the most ideal time to be fishing. Something else I probably could have thought of before I came out here was that this water over here on this inside bend is probably running slow enough that I could have went with a 3/32 and got a little slower fall on the jig. I believe almost 2 years ago now, this was the bank that Phil was working right up against the bank when he caught that 12-pound rainbow on the one cast. I know it's somewhere in here. He wasn't but just a couple hundred yards above the dock on this inside bend. And if you just look at all the structure and everything that's over here, I mean, it's just almost impossible that there's not some really nice trophy class fish that swim up and down this bank over here, but you just don't see that many people working it. I bet if you focused your efforts on this bank for a while, you'd probably find some really nice fish hidden in these cuts and in the structure. Also, we have all those big fish that live under the dock, and I know they don't stay there forever, and I'll bet that this bank is one of the ones they swim up whenever they swim out from underneath the dock. Now that we're just a couple hundred yards before the dock and getting close to the pump house, this is where I was talking about, where it goes from being deeper and kind of flattens out for this first 70 or 80 feet out from the bank. And sometimes you'll find the fish more out in the middle on that flat versus inside towards the bank. But I'd need a few more passes to figure that out. I was going to end the video when I got to the dock, but if I can't find a fish, I might continue on past the dock and drag one of those jerk baits. Well, so far I don't think I've even had a touch. I know that I could have probably put some scuds on a drift rig and drifted down below Fall Creek and done really well, but I wanted to stay a little closer to the dock and try something that I hadn't tried in a while. You just never know when you come out here if you're gonna get on them hot and heavy or if you're gonna get skunked when you come to do a little short video segment. Alright, one more cast and I'm switching to the jerk bait. We're just about back at the dock now. Oh my gosh, I found a fish right before the dock. Doesn't feel bad either. And there's a very pretty fat rainbow. Well, accomplished getting one before the dock, but I think we're still gonna drag a jerkbait on down past the dock for just a second. We'll try the Signature Series Ghost Shad 606 first here. One thing to keep in mind as you get lower and lower on the lake drifting these is that more and more logs and stuff that you can get hung up on settles down here farther down the lake, and so there's a lot better chances of losing these things down here versus up near the trophy area, the first section below the trophy area. And just the very thing I was talking about. All kinds of fun stuff to get snagged on down there. So I got one left, and if it goes, then I'm done for the day. So that was the 606 model. This is the 762 that they're calling Ghosted. It's kind of a blackish silver, and that just kind of represents that minnow look. I actually see a scud floating in the water right there. One thing to note, if you don't have a whole lot of lines out, or just like me by myself here, I could, once that gets hooked up, run to the back of the boat, start the motor up, and kind of drive slowly upstream, reeling in my slack until I get to where it's hung. Usually if you drive on the other side of it, you can get them back. It just depends on if you want to do all the work to do it. This can get expensive if you're losing a lot of jerk baits all the time. Hey, there's a fish. We are sitting right in front of Lazy Valley Resort, so it's working as far down as here. That's not a bad sized rainbow there either. Another thing, whenever you take the middle hook off of these and they're just hooking them on the tail hook, if you're wanting to keep these fish, you should probably use a net to land them and don't put too much tension on those jerk baits, because they like to throw those treble hooks. I don't understand how they throw treble hooks so well, but they do. This guy had the treble hook pretty good, but I think we'll go for 5 more minutes. Maybe we'll drift down to where Cooper Creek's dock starts. When I drift these down here, I stick closer to that bluff, just because I always think that catching a brown trout's a better chance by the bluff. But right now we're drifting 60 to 80 feet away from the docks here, and I've heard of people doing fairly well in between these docks, catching some bigger fish. I've just never been down here to fish in between them. This actually might be the first time I've ever drug anything close to the docks on this side. So far, the current speed though down this far, we're almost to unit 24 now, passing unit 26, which are our houses down here at the end. So far, the current speed is just fine. If these jerkbaits get to dragging too slow, they seem to get hung up and they just don't wobble like they need to attract a fish. But so there's a point where you could go maybe past Monkey Island, where the water might get too slow to do this. But so far, I think you could do this all the way down to Monkey Island. There's a fish. Oh, I missed him. He took off with that. That might have been a good fish. You just can't ask for much more of a beautiful day out here. Weather is just perfect. The cool thing about being able to do this right now with the water running fast and stuff is these fish down here don't usually see jerkbaits in their face all the way down there on the bottom. So sometimes it's just about getting something they don't see very often. Okay. Well, we made it to Cooper Creek. So I think I'm gonna call it a day. Still managed to find a couple fish today. But we thank you guys for watching. Like and share us on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll get out here and do it for you again tomorrow. Thanks, guys.